this lecture, we will discuss about the dominating sets. So, before formally defining what is meant by a dominating set, let me give where this dominating set has been applied. So, the basic one is it is used in the communication networks. Okay. See, suppose there are certain nodes. Okay. Certain nodes like this. Okay. And all these are connected. Okay. Some might be connected like this. Okay. And now you will have like this. You can have like this. Okay. So this would be C1, C2, something like this, C3, C4, computer 4, 5, computer 6, computer 7. Okay, it has got certain topology. Okay, and you have certain network topology. Okay. So now among this, okay, you have to find among this, we have to decide the minimum number of servers. Minimum number of servers. Okay. So this is practically a domination set problem. Say for example, if I fix is C4. Okay, C4. Okay, I can fix C4 because it is connected to all the nodes except C7. Okay, so now I can fix either C7 as another server or C1 as another server or C5 as another server, as the case may be. So if I want to just pass the information, I have to just pass it from a particular machine that would be decided, or that would be called as the server. And here this identifying the number of servers, minimum number of servers, is nothing but a domination, identifying a dominating set in a graph. Okay, so this is a simple example here in communication network. Okay, similarly you can also have the cell phone towers. Okay, cell phone towers. Okay, for example, here I have tower 1. Okay, I have tower 1. Here I have as many phones. Okay, and similarly here I have another tower 2. Okay, so now what happens here is that how to fix the minimum number of towers to cover all the reaches. So that would again be a dominating set problem. Okay, so this is another usage of your domination set problem. Okay, and the third one, it is simple, which is called as the traffic scheduling. Traffic scheduling. Okay, so now what happens here is that you have various bus stops here. Okay, or various students are here, they are placed as nodes. Okay, you have to pick them up. Okay, you have to pick them up. For example, if I fix this as the bus stop, so that you can have all these students come to this stop B1, and similarly if I have another bus stop B2, okay, I can ask these students to come here. Okay, and there might be a route here. Okay, there might also be a route here, but now you fix this. Okay, it is like this, and now I have a school here. Okay, so now it is enough if the bus travels to B1 and then B2, so that all the students can come. So if you look at this, this would be a graph with these 2 points being the dominating points for these nodes set of students. So these are certain applications. These are certain applications of your traffic. These are some of the applications of the dominating set problems that are available. Okay. Now I will move to another important problem called as the Queen's problem. Okay, Queen's problem, and this problem is famous in the sense that you have a lot of persons working on this problem. Okay, and now you have variations of this Queen's problem. Okay, let me highlight what is this. You know, in a chessboard you will have 8 by 8 squares, 64 squares. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now you have 8 by 8 squares. Let me divide like this. 1, 2, this one would be 3, this one is 4, this one is 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you can just see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And similarly you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 by 8 squares. Suppose if I place a queen here, okay, you know the movement of queen, this would cover all the sub squares where I have marked a cross mark. Okay, so here you have like this, the movement of the queen is being marked here. Okay, so I have this. Okay, so you can see that when I place this queen here, okay, when I place this queen here, it covers the sub squares or the boxes where there is a movement of queen. Okay, but this queen has not covered the entire chessboard. Okay, so now the problem would be like this. Find the minimum number of queens required. Okay, minimum number of queens required to cover the entire chessboard. Okay, chessboard. Okay, so now you can think like this. And similarly you have king's problem. Okay, again the same concept, queen is being replaced with king. Okay, and then you have rook's problem. Okay, rook's problem, movement of the rook elephant in the chessboard. And of course you also have this famous knight's problem. Okay, movement of the arch to cover this. Okay, this is one set. Now instead of taking entire chessboard, okay, there are certain variations where you have like this 2 by 3. Okay, 2 by 3 movement, 2 by 3. This is called as 2 by 3 chessboard. Okay, 2 rows and 3 columns. You can just extend it. There you can find the bishop problem or knight's problem or the rook's problem, as the case may be. So these are certain important application of the dominating set which we have been using without knowing that it is a dominating set problem. Okay, so now what we will do is we will just define. Okay, let me define what is a dominating set. Okay, so in this case let me start with the definition. I take G is a simple graph. Let G be a simple graph. Okay, simple graph with vertex set V and its set E. With vertex set capital V and edge set capital E. Okay, so now what I do is I take a graph like this and it's set capital E. Okay, so now a subset S contained in V is a dominating set. Okay, this will be a dominating set. Is a dominating set if every vertex in V minus S is adjacent to a vertex of X, to a vertex of S. Okay, the minimum cardinality, okay, let me write like this, the minimum cardinality of a dominating set, okay, the minimum cardinality of a dominating set denoted by gamma of G, denoted by gamma of G is called the domination number of the graph G. It is called as the domination number of graph G. Okay, so this is the formal definition here. Suppose if I take V as a vertex at V, and if this is set S, if I take any vertex, it has to be either in S or it has to be adjacent. It has to be adjacent to a vertex of S, and this is called as the dominating set. Okay, and the minimum cardinality is represented by gamma of G. Okay, in some of the books they call it as the stability number. Okay, stability number is nothing but your domination number. So if you take a vertex, it has to be either in S or it has to be adjacent to S. You know what is meant by adjacent vertices. Okay, let me again repeat this definition. Adjacent vertices is nothing but you have an edge. You have an edge incident with those vertices. Incident with these vertices. Okay, so in this case, this is called as an adjacent vertices. So, and the minimum number is called as the domination number of the graph G. Okay, so this is the definition. Let me see this. Let me give this as an example here. Let me take this graph. Okay, so now let me call this as an example. Okay, let me have like this: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, so let me write like this: A, C, E. Okay, this is a dominating set. Okay, if you look at this set, a subset S of E, it is a dominating set. If I take any vertex which is not in S, it will be adjacent to any one of the vertices, either A, C, or E. If I look at the vertex B, it is adjacent to both A and C. Okay, it is enough if it is adjacent to at least one vertex, but here it is adjacent to two vertices. And similarly, if I take G, that is also adjacent to two vertices, A and C. And similarly, D and F are adjacent to two vertices, C and E. So, A, C, E is a dominating set. Okay, so now I will take another set S1. Okay, now I call this B, G, D, F. Okay, this is again a dominating set. Okay, this is again a dominating set, and here you can see that A is adjacent to B and G. C is also adjacent to all the vertices B, G, D, and F, but E is adjacent to D and F. So this is again a dominating set. Okay, I can construct as many dominating sets as possible in this graph. But here you can see that this is a dominating set with cardinality 3, and S1 is a dominating set with cardinality 4. So I have cardinality of the minimum dominating set as 3. Okay, in fact, let me prove this. You have to prove this, but here you can take that 3 would be the minimum. 3 would be the minimum number of elements in the dominating set. So you have this domination number as 3. Okay, but if you look at this set S1, okay, it contains 4 elements. Okay, B, G, D, and F. Okay, suppose if I drop B, okay, if I drop B, then in that case, this ceases to be a dominating set. It is no more a dominating set if I drop B, because the element B is not adjacent to G, D, or F. And similarly, when I drop G, it again ceases to be a dominating set. So in this case, I have a new term, what you call it as the new term, what is called as the minimal dominating set. Okay, let me define what is a minimal. So that is different from minimum dominating set. Minimal dominating set. Okay, so this is an important one. What is this minimal dominating set? A dominating set. Okay, a dominating set, it has to be a dominating set, is a minimal, a dominating set, yes, is a minimal dominating set. Okay, it is a minimal dominating set if, okay, you have like this, if proper subset of S, okay, if proper subset of S is not a dominating set. If the proper subset of S is not a dominating set. So as you can see here in this graph, okay, in this graph, if you look at this, the same thing that what we have done earlier, A, B, C, D, E, F, and then this one as G. Okay, S is equal to A, C, E. Okay, this is also minimal. S1, namely B, G, D, F. Okay, both are minimal. Okay, minimal dominating set. Okay, both are minimal dominating sets. So in this case, you need not worry. You need not worry about this minimal dominating set, because here this minimal dominating set is important in the characterization of the dominating sets. But mostly here, because we are using the machines quite often for algorithms, we will be concentrating more on the minimal dominating set. So that will be the concept, that we will be learning here. Okay, so these two are minimal dominating set, and you can also write the minimum dominating set as that minimum cardinality. Okay, minimum cardinality of a minimal dominating set. Okay, both are the same. Minimal dominating set is called domination number of G. Okay, this would obviously be domination number of G. This is obvious because this is minimum. Minimum implies that you don't have a set of cardinality less than the minimum. So automatically that would be a minimal dominating set, and therefore minimum cardinality among all the dominating set is called as the domination number of a graph G. Okay, so with this we have this classification. Okay, these are certain observations that you can make. It's very simple. Number one, every minimum dominating set, okay, every minimum dominating set is a minimal dominating set. Okay, this is very simple as I told. Minimal dominating set, and the converse need not be true. We have seen this, converse need not be true. That is, a minimal dominating set need not be minimum. Okay, this is the usual one. Second one, every superset, okay, every superset of a dominating set, every superset of a dominating set is also a dominating set. Okay, this is also a simple observation, is also a dominating set. Okay, is also a dominating set. Okay, so in this case, you will have like this. What is this? If you take a dominating set and if you keep on adding the elements which are not in the set, that would also be a dominating set. So you can have every super dominating set, every superset of a dominating set is a dominating set. And the third one is very simple. Gamma of G is equal to 1, that is domination number of a graph G is 1, implies, when do you have this case? There exists a vertex, okay, there exists a vertex adjacent to the remaining vertices, adjacent to the remaining vertices. Okay, so it will be adjacent to the remaining vertices. So this is called as, if you have such a case, then such a graph will have the domination number 1. Okay, so you can explore on this. Okay, when the graph will have 1, what would be the maximum value of the domination number in a graph, all those things. What is the possible values of the domination number, namely finding out the lower bound and upper bound, or finding out the domination number of certain important classes of graphs. So all those things you will study now. Okay, so now after these observations, let me move to this. This is again an important problem. Okay, what is this problem here? Every maximal independent set, okay, every maximal independent set is a dominating set. Okay, so this is another important problem. Okay, what is this maximal? First, let me say what is meant by an independent set. Then we will discuss what is a maximal independent set, and then we will prove that how it is equal to, or how it becomes a dominating set. Okay, what is an independent set? A subset, again S of V or D of V, is an independent set. Okay, is an independent set if any two vertices in S, in D, not S, in D are non-adjacent. Okay, so you have isolates, that is elements or vertices in D are not joined by an edge. So that will be called as an independent set. Okay, and now what is a maximal independent set? Okay, an independent set is a maximal independent set, is a maximal independent set if, okay, is a maximal independent set if any superset of S, okay, the reverse part, every superset of S is not an independent set, is not an independent set. Okay, again if you look at this same example that I have given you earlier, here the two dominating sets that I have written will be an independent set which will be maximum. Okay, E, F and G. Okay, if you look at this, S is equal to A, C, E. Okay, this is a maximal independent set. Suppose if I take B, it is adjacent to A and C, so I cannot include B and G. Similarly, I cannot include F and D. So this will be a maximal independence. Suppose if I take S1, okay, what is this S1? B, G, D and F. Okay, so these two are maximal independent set. These two are maximal independent set. Okay, so in this case, what happens here is that if I take a superset of S, or if I add some elements which are not in S to this S, it violates the independent condition. Such a set is called as the maximal independent set. And this term maximal is similar to the word minimal, okay, but it is opposite in sense. Okay, and now we have a special one called as the independence number. What is this? Maximum cardinality. Okay, maximum cardinality of an independent set. An independent set is called independence number of G. Okay, that is called as the independence number of G, denoted by beta of G. Denoted by beta of G. So in this case, you can also say like this: maximal cardinality of a maximal independent set is called as the independence number. Okay, and this is denoted by beta of G. For this graph, beta of G is equal to 4. You can also do that. This would be 4. And this maximal independent set, what we have taken is nothing but your dominating set. Okay, let me see here. That was the problem that we have taken here. Let me write down the solution. Let S be a maximal independent set. Okay, so that is what we have done here. I am starting with a maximal independent set. Now what I have to do? I have to show that this S is a dominating set. Okay, so equivalently, okay, what is that you have to do equivalently? Let me write this definition of maximal independent set in another way. Equivalently, for every U in V minus S, okay, for every element U in V minus S. So you have like this one would be S, okay, and if I take an element U, okay, then what will happen? S union U is not an independent set. Okay, this is not an independent set. Okay, why it is not an independent set? That is, U is adjacent to a vertex of S. Okay, so if I take a vertex U, if it is not independent, which implies that U has to be adjacent to a vertex of S. Okay, so now what happens here is that for every U in V minus S, there exists V in S such that U and V are adjacent. Okay, so that is the definition of the adjacence. Okay, maximal independence. So now what I have done, I have just listed down the property of the maximal independent set according to the definition of the dominating set. You know that this is a maximal independent set. So if I add a vertex which is not in the set S, it violates the independent nature. So the newly added vertex has to be adjacent to any one of the vertex in S. And that is what I have written here. So for every U in V minus S, there exists a vertex V in S such that U and V are adjacent. So now what happens here is that this implies S is a dominating set. Okay, so now what happens here? Every maximal independent set is a dominating set. So now what happens here is that from this problem you have a corollary. Okay, what is that? In a simple graph, your domination number gamma of G is always less than or equal to your independent maximal independent set, and the maximum cardinality of a maximal independent set would be beta of G independence number. So your domination number is always less than or equal to your independence number, namely beta of G. So this is again, as I told you, this is one of the upper bound, important upper bound of your domination number. Okay, so this is one important bound, but I will give you another bound. Okay, I will also take this as a problem here. Okay, a problem here. In a simple graph G, okay, the upper ceiling of n by 1 plus delta of G is less than or equal to gamma of G, and this is less than or equal to n minus delta of G, and you all know that this delta of G is the maximum degree in a graph G. Okay, in a graph G. So your bound, this one is the lower bound, this one is the upper bound. N minus delta of G is called as an upper bound. So maximum value that a domination number can take in a graph is n minus delta of G. And of course you also know this n is nothing but the order of graph. What is an order of the graph? Order of the graph is nothing but the number of vertices in the graph G. And this is called as the upper ceiling of n by delta plus 1. Say for example, if you have like this upper ceiling of 3 by 2, okay, this would give you 1.5. Okay, so now what do you write this 1.5 as 2? This is called as the upper ceiling. That is the least integer which is greater than or equal to 1.5. Okay, similarly when I write this lower ceiling 3 by 2, okay, this would be lower ceiling of 1.5 and this would be 1. Okay, or the greatest integer less than or equal to 1.5, namely 1. So this is the upper ceiling and the lower ceiling. So now here you have that the upper ceiling of n by 1 plus delta of G is the lower bound for the domination number, and the upper bound is n minus delta of G. But already we have shown that the upper bound, another upper bound is beta of G. Okay, now let me prove this. Okay, proving this is simple. Okay, so now you have like this. Let U be a vertex. Okay, U be a vertex of graph G. U be a vertex of graph G with maximum degree delta. With a maximum degree delta of G. Okay. So now I take this U and I have U1. Okay, I have U2. So on. I have U delta. Okay, so this will be the degree. What is the degree? Number of lines or number of edges incident with U. This is maximum in the graph G. So now what I do is, I take all the vertices except U1, U2, U3, so on, U delta. You can see that all these vertices U1, U2, U3, so on, U delta is adjacent to U. And all the other elements will be in the set S. So automatically that would be a dominating set. Okay, let me write like this here. Let U1, U2, so on, U delta be the vertices adjacent to U. Okay, so now what I do is adjacent to U. Okay, so now what I do is I take this set, define S is equal to, okay, V of G, set of all vertices in G minus U1, U2, so on, U delta. Okay. So now what happens here is every vertex in V minus S is adjacent to, okay, you can see that it is adjacent to a vertex in S. Okay, practically here it is U. Here it is U. Okay, so now it is adjacent to S, which implies that, okay, this is simple, which implies that S is a dominating set. Okay, S is a dominating set. So because this is a dominating set, this domination number should be greater than or equal to the minimum number, and therefore you can have like this, gamma of G will be less than or equal to cardinality of S. It can be equal, but it can also be greater than, so I have taken like this. And now when I count the cardinality of S, what happens here? If I take the total number of vertices in the set in the graph as n, and I have removed the maximum degree vertices, say I have taken the adjacency vertices of U are U1, U2, U3, so on, U delta. So in this case, what happens here is that I will have n minus delta of G. Okay, so now what I have done, out of the n vertices, I have removed delta of G vertices in the set, and therefore this n minus delta of G will be an upper bound, of the domination number of a graph G. Okay, similarly you can also find a lower bound in terms of the minimum degree. Okay, but you have a better bound here, namely upper ceiling of n by delta plus 1. Okay, how do we prove this? Okay, now let me write like this. Okay, the vertex U, okay, dominates itself and the vertices adjacent to it. Okay, so now if I take like this U, if I take this graph like this, something like this, okay, you can see here this vertex U dominates U1, U2, U3, U4. Okay, even though U1, U2 are adjacent, you leave this. If I take a vertex, it dominates itself because that will be in the set, and it will also dominate the neighboring vertices. So in a graph G, okay, in a graph G you have like this, minimum of n by delta of G plus 1 is required to dominate all the vertices of G. Okay, in fact, in minimum or at least, you can have like this, at least n by delta plus 1 is required to dominate all the vertices of G. What is this delta of G plus 1? U is the vertex with maximum degree, so that will be adjacent to delta vertices, plus this 1 U, okay, U. When I add this, I will have delta plus 1 vertices. So at one go, okay, maximum number of vertices that a vertex can dominate is delta of G plus 1. Okay, when I bring this to the denominator, okay, when I divide this n with delta of G plus 1, so you require at least a minimum of n by delta plus 1 vertices. And in order to have it as an integer, now what I do is I write this as an upper ceiling L delta of G, and this would be less than or equal to gamma of G. Okay, so now what I have done is I have just combined these two, and this implies upper ceiling of n by delta of G plus 1 less than or equal to gamma of G less than or equal to n minus delta of G. This would be the dominating bounds, okay, or this would be the bounds of the domination number. Okay. Okay, now let me explain why this bound is very useful. Okay, because if I want to find the domination number of a complete graph, okay, find the domination number of a complete graph. Domination number of a complete graph, Kn. Okay, this is very simple. Domination number is 1. Gamma of Kn is equal to 1. But how to get this? This is important. Okay, so now what happens here is that every vertex in Kn is adjacent to, okay, is adjacent to every other vertices. Okay, is adjacent to every other vertices. So delta of G is equal to n minus 1. Okay, so now let me write like this: n by 1 plus n minus 1 less than or equal to gamma of Kn. This is less than or equal to n minus of n minus 1. So I have n by n with an upper ceiling less than or equal to gamma of Kn less than or equal to n minus n plus 1, or I have 1 less than or equal to gamma of Kn less than or equal to 1, and this can happen only when gamma of Kn is equal to 1. So this is the speciality of this bound. Okay, so now what I have done, I have just used the bounds and I have calculated the domination number of a complete graph Kn. Okay, similarly, what will happen to the domination number of a complete bipartite graph? Okay, let me see here. Find the, okay, or let me write like this: find the domination number of a complete bipartite graph, a complete bipartite graph Km comma n. Let me assume m is less than n. Okay, so now you know what is a complete bipartite graph. You have two partition of the vertex set. You have u1, u2, um. Okay, here you have x1, x2, so on, xm. If I take u1, that is adjacent to all the vertices in xm, and similarly if I take the vertices here, this will be adjacent to all the vertices of x. So this will be a complete bipartite graph. Okay, so now what happens here is that you can write like this. It will be very simple. Okay, the set u1 x1 is a dominating set. Okay, is a dominating set of graph Km comma n. Okay, if I take a vertex u1, okay, this vertex u1 will be adjacent to the vertices x1, x2, x3, so on, xm. And similarly, when I take this x1, that will be adjacent to the vertices u1, u2, u3, so on, um. So in this case, u1 x1 is a dominating set of the graph G. Okay, it has to be greater than or equal to the minimum dominating set. So you have gamma of Km comma n less than or equal to Km comma n less than or equal to 2. Okay, so now what I have to do? I have to prove that this is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, let me see like this. Now what will be delta? Delta would be maximum of m comma n, because here this vertices in partition x will have degree n, because it is adjacent to, oh sorry, here I have to take it as n, x1, x2, x3, so on, xn. So here this degree will be n. Okay, because u1 is adjacent to all the vertices x1, x2, x3, so on, xn. And similarly, if I take a vertex in the partition Y, this xi is adjacent to m elements here. So in this case, what happens here is that the minimum, okay, if you look at this, the minimum of m and n is m, maximum is n. So you can write this as n. Okay. And now what will happen to upper integral of m plus n by n plus 1. Okay, n plus 1. Okay, so now you have like this. If n is equal to, so in this case, minimum value of you should have to calculate, show that this is less than or equal to 2. Okay, so now what happens here is that m plus n is the number of vertices in the graph G, number of vertices in the graph G, and n plus 1 is the total. Okay, n plus 1 is the total number of n plus 1 is the sum of the maximum degree and 1. Okay, but from this, can I conclude that this is greater than or equal to 2? Okay, so in this case, that would be little bit difficult in proving this. So now I have to use somehow another argument and show that, okay, and show that this is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, let me think how to do it. And here this would be very simple here. Okay, because this is a bipartite graph, G is bipartite. Okay, G is bipartite, and you know that in a bipartite graph, any two vertices in X are non-adjacent. Similarly, any two vertices in Y are non-adjacent. So if at all, if I want to have a dominating set, I should take one vertex in U1 and another vertex, say one vertex in X and another vertex in Y. So because G is bipartite, a dominating set, okay, so the argument will be like this: every dominating set in a bipartite graph should have, okay, should possess at least two elements, two vertices. Okay, so let us write like this: one in X and other in Y. Okay, at least two vertices, one in X and in Y. Therefore, gamma of G is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, in fact, you can write like this: gamma of K m comma n is greater than or equal to 2, which implies that gamma of K m comma n is equal to 2. Okay, so here I have shown that the complete bipartite graph has the domination number 2. Not necessarily you have to use the bound. Here I have used a simple argument that in a bipartite graph, every dominating set should contain at least two elements. It has to contain at least two elements, and therefore this will be 2, and therefore you can show that for a complete bipartite graph, the domination number is always 2. Okay, so these are certain examples where you can do it. Okay, and now I will come to the final part. Okay, and this final part is again enumeration of minimal dominating set. Okay, so I have to just enumerate all the minimal dominating sets. Okay, and let me again write down the same graph which we have already seen. Okay, and let me manually do it and then give a method using the Boolean expressions, Boolean arithmetic, to find all the minimal dominating set. So now I have ACE. The next one would be B, G, D, F. Okay, the next one would be A, D, F. Okay, and the next one would be E, B, G. Okay, and when I take this ACE I have written, Okay, F. Okay, when I take F, FCA. Okay, it will be like this, FCA. And similarly, I can have GCD. Okay, GCD. I can also have GCE. Okay, GC and then E. So I can have as many minimal dominating set for the graph. But here what we are going to do is we are using the Boolean arithmetic, okay, to enumerate all minimal dominating set. Okay, this you have to keep in mind. We are just enumerating all the minimal dominating sets. How do we do this? Okay, so now let me translate the graph theory into logical notations. So what do we do to dominate a vertex Vi? Okay, if I want to dominate a vertex Vi, okay, what do we do? We must include, okay, Vi or vertices adjacent to Vi in the dominating set. Okay, so this is the thing that we do here. If I want to dominate Vi, I dominate Vi, or what I do is I take a vertex adjacent to Vi in the dominating set. Okay, and a minimum set. Okay, there is a minimum set satisfying. Okay, minimum set satisfying the condition. Okay, it has to satisfy the condition for every vertex Vi, okay, is the required set. So that is the thing that we want, is the required set. Okay, so now what I do is, to meet this, okay, we consider, okay, sum of the products. Okay, we consider product of the sums Vi1 plus so on Vin. Okay, and these are adjacent to Vi, vertices adjacent to Vi. So now what happens here is that I take a vertex Vi, or I take a vertex which is adjacent to Vi in the dominating section. Okay, so now when I form this product, okay, this I have to cover it for all the vertices. So I have V1, Vi1, so on, plus Vin. So now what I have done is I have translated the graph theoretical notation into the Boolean expression with the condition that I should include either Vi or a vertex adjacent to Vi. Okay, so this will be the required one. Okay, so now when I do this, okay, now what we do here is we express theta in terms of product, sum of the products, okay, and each term would represent a minimal dominating set. Okay, minimal dominating set. Okay, so this is okay. This is the part that we are going to do in order to find or enumerate all the dominating sets which are minimal. Okay, let me explain this using this example, simple example. Let me take this house graph. Okay, this house graph, this would be simple. I take A, B, C, D and E. Okay, you all know this rule: A plus A is equal to A is equal to A plus AB is also A, and equivalent form for this is A plus B into A is equal to A. I'll be repeatedly using this to find the domination, minimal domination set or minimal dominating set. So now what I do is I write it for vertex A. So A plus B plus E. Because here you can see that A is adjacent to B and D. So I have written the sum A plus B plus E. Now I go to B. B plus A plus C plus E. Now I move to C. C plus B plus D. Now I move to D. D plus C plus E. And for E, I have E plus A plus B plus D. Okay, so now I have got the product of the sums. Now I have to rewrite it as the sum of the products, and to simplify it, I will be using these results here. Okay, so now if you look at this, you have this A, B, E. Okay, C, B, D, B, D, C, E, C, B, all are different. Okay, C, B, D is not the same. So, okay, now let me reduce this and then let me try to use the expression here. Okay, so now I have like this. Let me find the product of first two, AB plus BB plus BE plus AA plus AB plus AE plus CA plus CB plus CE plus AE plus BE plus EE. This will be the product of the first two terms. And then let me write this C plus B plus D, and this one as D plus C plus E, and then let me write the last one E plus A plus B plus D. Okay, you know BB, let me use different color, better. BB is B, okay, and AA is A, okay, EE would be E. Okay, so now I have this AB plus B will be B, so I'll have this as B. Okay, when I combine these two, and let me write like this: BE plus A plus AB would be A. Okay, let me write here: A plus AB is A. I'll have plus AE plus AC plus CB plus CE plus AE plus BE plus E would be E plus EB would be E. Okay, let me write the remaining terms as such: C plus B plus D, D plus C plus E, and next one will be E plus A plus B plus D. Okay, now I will not be using further notation. Let me strike out this: B plus BE would be B, A plus AE would be A plus AC would also be A, E plus AE would be AE, E plus CE would be C. So this gets reduced to A plus B plus, okay, you can also strike out this B plus CB is B, it goes here, so I have A plus B plus E. Okay, so this entirely gets reduced to this. Now let me multiply these two: CD plus BD plus D plus C plus BC plus DC plus CE plus BE plus DE. Let me write down the last term as such, E plus A plus B plus D. Okay, so now again when I use this, D plus BD would be D, D plus DC would be would be D, C plus BC would be C, C plus CD would again be C, C plus CE would be C again, and here D plus DE would be D. Okay, so now let me write this in the next slide, A plus B plus E. Okay, A plus B plus E. D plus C plus B, D plus C plus B, last EA, D plus C plus B, EABD, EABD. Okay, now I have to just again simplify this. I'll multiply these two. Do I have this? No, still I don't have this. Let me multiply this. AD plus BD plus ED plus AC plus plus BC plus EC plus ABE plus BE plus B, and the last term E plus A plus B plus D will be here. Now let me write this. BE plus BE would be BE, ABE plus BE is BE, and can I simplify any other thing? BE. Okay, I think I don't have any other notation here. Okay, so BE, AC, BC, EC. Okay, I have different. Now what I do is I multiply these two. ADE, BDE, I'll have ED plus ACE plus BCE plus EC plus BE. Okay, I have multiplied the terms, first term with E. Similarly, I am going to do it for A, B and D. So I'll have AD plus ABD plus AED plus AC plus ABC plus AEC plus ABE. Now with B plus ADB plus BD plus BED plus BAC plus BC plus BEC again plus BE. Now with respect to D, AD plus BD plus ED plus ACD plus BCD plus ECD plus BED. Okay, so let me use a different color, and now let me reduce one after the other. Okay, AD with ADE, I'll have AD retained. AD plus ABD, AD is retained. AD plus ADB, AD is retained. AD plus AD. Similarly, BD plus BD, BD plus BED is BD. Okay, and similarly here BE plus BED, BE is retained. BE plus BEC, BE is retained. Okay, and here I have AC, ABC would go, AEC would go. Okay, and similarly here I have EC, BCE would go, ACE would go. Okay, here I have ED, AED would go. Okay, AED would go, and here I have BE, here I have ABE, ABE would go. BE plus BE, I can retain only one BE. BC plus BAC, BC. Okay, and here if you look at these two, ED and ECD, ECD would go. Okay, BC and BCD, BCD would go. AC and ACD, ACD would go. Okay, so now what happens here? Here, similarly, here look at this. ED plus BDE, ED is retained. So I have this, what is that? ED for the first term, and I have EC, I have BE, I have AD, I have AC. Okay, and in the third row I have BD and BC. Okay, and the next one would be ED. Okay, so now these are these terms. Let me write down here. Okay, encircle this. 1, I have 2, I have 3, this one is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now you have to see to that you don't have this. So now what you can do is you can write the minimal, okay, the minimal dominating set or ED. Okay, ED, write one after the other. EC, okay, BE, AD, AC, BD, BC, and ED. Okay, now let me draw this graph here for our understanding so that we can verify ourselves. Okay, but let me also see how it has been labeled A, B, C, D, E in the counterclockwise direction. A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so ED, yeah, it is a dominating set. EC is again a dominating set. BE is also a dominating set. AD is also a dominating set. AC is also a dominating set. BD is also a dominating set. BC is also a dominating set. ED, okay, you can skip this because when I use this property ED plus ED, you will have only one ED. A plus A is equal to A, so you can omit this. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 as the dominating minimal dominating set for this particular problem. Okay, so now you can also find the minimal dominating set. Okay, or in fact finding that you use this, enumerate the minimal dominating sets, okay, for the graph. Okay, I'll just give you a graph like this. Let me name like this: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, so now you can use this property, and you can find the minimal dominating set. Okay, this you can practice. Okay, this you can take it as a practice problem and try to verify what would be or enumerate all the minimal dominating sets. Okay, so what did we do in this particular lecture? Let me recall here. Okay, see, first what we do is found certain applications of dominating section where it has been used. Say for example, in communication, okay, or transport scheduling, okay, or in transport scheduling, and then we saw this important Queen's problem. Okay, this was one. The second thing was we defined what is a dominating set. Dominating set. And the third thing was we found the bounds on the domination number. Okay, we had just calculated the bounds on the domination number. And the fourth one was calculation of domination number. Calculation of domination number for Kn and Km, n. And at the end, we enumeration of minimal dominating set. Okay, that was important. Enumeration of minimal dominating set using Boolean arithmetic. Okay, these are the things that we have covered in this particular lecture. You can just go through this, and still if you have any doubts, you can mail me to my email ID. Okay, let me write this email ID here. Venkatakrish2 at, okay, my email ID Venkatakrish2 at max.sastra.edu. I'll be happy to answer your